Blekioki sends in $5, says, do you see Aquaman doing better than Marvel's or not? Wondering what will be the biggest comic book movie flop. That's a good question. I mean, I think Six had sent me a thing where they still hadn't sold a single ticket in the theater, and I think a few other people had too.
Yeah, I think the Marvels has now officially beaten The Flash as the biggest CBM flop.
Yeah, well, the beauty of Warner Brothers with The Flash is a lot of that money was spent years ago, and they have a couple of hits that they can lean on at least. Because I had retweeted somebody who said, who had a worse year, Warner Brothers or Disney? And I said, oh, Disney by far.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because regardless of what losses Warner Brothers had, they're offset by Barbie and Evil Dead and a few other hits they did have. Disney didn't even have any of those. That's the problem they have right now. They don't have anything.
Also, if you put out fewer flops, you have less failures.
That too. But I just curious. Yeah. But I mean, the question is sound. I mean, do I think Aquaman will perform worse or better than the Marvels? I think it'll be on par. What do you guys think? Script?
I think it'll start off on par, but it might edge ahead just slightly. Not by much, I suspect.
I think it's lucky it doesn't have any competition either. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Black Adam level success.
Yeah.
I think really, you think it's going to do that well? Because remember, compared to all of these the recent releases, Black Adam didn't do half bad. I mean,
but it wasn't. It didn't make its money back.
No, but that's because it cost too much. It's still open to what, like $60-something million. I mean, that's like twice what the Flash and everything are open to. You think that it's going to that Aquaman is going to increase that much from the Flash?
I think it'll be better than the Flash, mainly because absolutely no one liked Miller, and people love Momoa.
I see your Momoa,
is not impossible for Aquaman. 390 worldwide, because that's what Black Adam made. 390 million worldwide.
Yeah.
I see Paul's point of view, but I will counter him with a Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
See, I think if anything was going to save the Flash, it was Michael Keaton,
and I was surprised it didn't.
Yeah, well, it's because I think it had they released had they released Flash in January, right after they dropped that Michael Keaton trailer at the Super Bowl, the movie would have opened to like $120 million. They waited too long, and script was right. They should have dropped it way back when, before Ezra got in even more trouble, because at that point, I don't think too many general public people were aware of who he was. You got in this Aquaman problem, you have Amber Heard, which is 2 or 3 times the problem that Ezra Miller is, because you ask 10 people on the street if they've heard of Ezra Miller, they go, who? Maybe 1 or 2 of them would know who you're talking about. You ask 10 people on the street about Amber Heard, at least 8 of them will know who the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
oh, fuck that bitch.
I'm sure that's what I was going to say. Like, sure I see your Jason Momoa, and I race you an Amber Heard, and I think that Aquaman is going to open and end up performing in the same vein as the Flash and as the Marvels, and only in their wet dreams is it going to open anywhere close to Black Adam. I mean, Black Adam, I mean, that's their biggest release of the last few years.
I'm betting you a pickled herring that that it will do better or equal to Black Adam.
Well, let's ask Chris. Let's ask Chris and Culture, since Culture's our
I'll bring you a box of, okay, you give me a pickled herring, I'll bet you a fine can of Norwegian sardines.
Okay. I love sardines.
Yeah, perfect.
Done.
All right. So Chris, and then, or Culture, you want to go first? Go ahead.
No, I think Chris should go first.
Is Chris even here? That's why I said that.
He's multitasking, probably.
I think he probably multitasking.
Chris had to drop out for a second.
Oh, okay.
All right, so go ahead, Culture.
I'll just say this. I think Aquaman will do slightly better than the Marvels. I think it'll fall a little short of the Flash, and I think that actually it'll surpass the Flash too. I think it'll fall short of Black Adam. I'm pretty sure that this is just barely gonna eke by the Marvel's disappointment. There's the world that this is entering into is one that understands that this is a dead thing. This is a dead thing going out there into the wild that's going to be unsupported going forward. It's the last, it's the last days of Pompeii or whatever. It's just it's dead. And I think that's going to play heavily into it. I mean, the Amber Heard damage is what it is. A lot of people won't see it just for that reason still. A lot of people are that principled, which is kind of interesting in today's world. But at the same time, I don't, like I said, it'll eat by the Marvels, but I don't think it'll get anywhere close to Black Adam. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like it might do better than the Marvels. Might. Yeah. But remember, Aquaman is now coming on the heels of the Marvels,
and
and the Flash,
and
on what was the one before that again? On
Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Yeah, exactly. This is flop to flop to flop to flop to flop. Why would audiences suddenly now find some interest in Aquaman?
No, I'm with you, Andre. I think it's
what fish do. So I guess it's.
There is no movie to go see unless you go see Wonka, a week or so after it.
That's what I mean. There's no, that's the only chance it has, but I'm with Andre. I think Wonka has a better chance of making money than Aquaman does right now.
Wonka looks horrible.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I've seen Wonka.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. So what do you think on this question and then your quick feelings on Wonka?
I don't know what the question is because I had to take a phone call. What's the question?
The question is, do you think the Marvels will perform, which one will perform better, Aquaman or Marvels, basically?
Probably Aquaman, not because it's a good movie, because it's the movie that will be over the holiday that the entire family can agree that I guess we'll just go see this movie. Do you know what I mean? Because also,
well, there's another movie, and that is Wonka, and you just said you just saw it. So
right. But Jason Momoa also beloved by women. So I think that's
so is Timothy Chalamet, though.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be probably a battle for those two. I don't know which will be number one, but I'll say that I believe in the end, box office wise, Aquaman 2 will beat the Marvels.
So what did you think of Wonka?
And I'm not telling you that because it's a good movie. I haven't seen it. I don't know. It doesn't look particularly good. I'm just saying because of, because when you look at the decision-making over a holiday of what movies to go see, sometimes it's the one that everyone can agree on. It doesn't, that's why I think Avatar did very well, right? Like, oh, the whole family, we all want to go see that, right? We're curious.
Yeah, that's a good insight.
Yeah. So as for Wonka, it's much better than the terrible trailers make it out to be. I was actually pleasantly surprised.
I've heard good things about it too.
Yeah, Hugh Grant is a huge standout as Lofty, the Oompa Loompa. He's very funny in every scene. And they don't get into much of the story in the trailers, but effectively it's about the other chocolatiers, sort of, I guess you could describe it as big chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
These three other chocolate companies trying to drive Willy Wonka out of business as he's just trying to start to sell chocolate, and he has a passion for chocolate. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. It's from the director of Paddington. And I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest movie ever, but you know what? I had fun, and I'll see it again. So there you go.
Wow.
And for that reason, Chris, I have a feeling that I'm going to have to go against the grain with you on this one and think that I think Wonka is going to be the surprise hit of the holiday season.
I think it could go either way. That's a good,
because the younger girls love Timothy Chalamet. I mean, if you go over to Twitter or not Twitter, Instatick or whatever the hell they're called anymore.
He's a TikTok and
they love the shit out of him. And just before you got back here, we're bringing up, it's like, look, sure, Momoa is big with women, but Keaton to me was a bigger card, and Ezra killed that card. Amber is a bigger turd. Amber's going to kill that turd. And Six just pointed out again, they still haven't sold one seat in her theater that she was looking at. At least I believe at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, Six, they had sold at least a handful of Captain Marvel tickets from my memory.
There you go. That's a good indicator.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know how big a draw Momoa is any longer. I mean, like in reality, like he's gained a tiny little bit of weight. And I see some women losing interest already because of that. It's like, oh, you no longer got your six-pack. Still got all your bulk, but No longer six-pack. Oh, I'm no less interested now. Where's that Chalamet dude?
And not only that, if what happens to the baby, from what I heard, actually happens still, and they don't change that, women are gonna fucking hate that.
Yeah. Well, men too.
Well, men too, but I mean, it's really gonna turn like that's kind of the whole. My point is this: if he doesn't have the body, if he's just being a dad and he has that going for him in the movie, women still like that kind of a thing.
I think he has the body in the movie. It's just like in interviews and everything like that.
No. But my point is okay, if you're making him a fatherly figure in the movie and you take that away too, like that's not good. That's my point I was getting to. So, but anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see Kalecki, and I think you got your $5 worth there.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 AM Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.